Thank you, sir. Thank you, Deputy Speaker, sir. Rabindranath Tagore said, quote, "Children are living beings, more living than grown-up people, who build cells of habit around themselves. Therefore, it is absolutely necessary for their mental health and development that they should not have mere school for their lessons, but the world whose guiding spirit is personal love." Unquote. Deputy Speaker, sir, every child is a blessing of God, representing the greatest assets of a nation and future of nation. It is unfortunate, therefore, when a child has become laborer in our prevailing social system. Every nation believes that employers should not be permitted to employ children, and that parents, no matter how poor, should not be allowed to keep children out of school. It is up to the state to stand as guardian, protecting children against child labor. In India, a large number of our children work for free in the fields of the cottage with their parents, while plucking leaves in the tea gardens. It is very common. For poorer countries, children are economic assets. Sir, when this is the spirit of the entire world, I say, sir, by introducing clause 5 of this bill, the central government is opening a back door to bring the child labor. In fact, now it is permitted through this amendment that children, where it will be, they will be allowed to do the work. Health is family or family enterprise, which is other than any hazardous occupational processes set forth in the civil. In a country like us, where all the children are not in a position to go to school, in a country like us, where the children is forced to go to the work by the parents itself or the guardian, in that case, this clause 5 hits the basic conception of protecting the child labor. Those who do not go to school, then in that case, what do you mean by school hours? After the school hours, a child will be permitted to enter, to go to do the work. This is really hits the basic concept of the Act itself. Therefore, it should not be brought. I should request the Honourable Minister, please don't press upon clause 5 itself. Sir, India is the world's largest democratic country and the world's second fastest growing major economy. But millions of children, all under 24 years of age, work as laborers. In fact, in the entire world, in India, the percentage of child labor is 23%. We are the highest. This is a great sorrow for us. This is not a pride at all. Poverty as well as lack of education facilities has contributed to the figure. A recent report produced by the International Confederation of Free Trade Unions says that there were as many as 4.98 million children working in India's agriculture, industrial and commercial sectors. Therefore today, sir, in this background, how clause 5 is giving the license to bring the child in these fields, India's booming economy has taken advantage of children workers towards its growth. While child laborers can be found in urban dwelling, around 80% reside in rural areas, where they are forced to work in agricultural activities, such as tanning, livestock, rearing, forestry and fisheries. The practice is widely prevalent in many third world countries such as China, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal and Brazil. But the matter of great concern in India, given it has the largest in the world. Sir, after Article 24 of the Constitution prohibits the employment of children below the age of 14 years in any factory or mine or engaged in any other hazardous employment. Article 39E, which comes within the directive principles of the Constitution, that provides that the health and strength of workers, men and women, and young children are not abused to enter a vocation unsuited to their age of strength. Article 39 sub-article F provides that children are given opportunities and facilities to develop in a healthy manner and in conditions of freedom and dignity, and that childhood and youth are protected against exploitation and moral and material abandonment. The founding fathers of the Constitution emphasize the importance of the role of the child and the need for the development. Dr. Ambedkar projected children's rights in the directive principles of state policy as their deprivation had a dangerous effect on the efficiency of the democracy and the rule of law. Prior to the Constitution came into force, there was an act, the Children Pledging of Labour Act 1933, which prohibits the pledging of labour of children for employment and prescribing penalty for persons and guardians pledging child labour. Factories Act prohibits to any employment below the 14 years of age. A new Article 21A has been incorporated, which has come into effect from 2010, 21A, stipulating that state provide free and compulsory education to all children aged 6 to 14 years. Compulsory education to children up to 14 years was passed with the enactment of the Right of Children to Free and Compulsory Education Act, or Right to Education Act 2010. Sir, there is no dearth of acts in our country, but problem is the implementation of the act, execution of the act. This is not done in our country. Sir, the National Child Labour Project, which started its operation in 1988, was an integral part of the national policy on child labour as adopted by Ministry of Labour and Employment Government of India in 1987. The National Child Labour Project program addressed the issues through the activities: a survey to identify children engaged in hazardous occupations and processes, withdrawal of the children from hazardous employment and processes, and rehabilitation of children withdrawn from work through special schools established by the project society. This NCLP, that's National Child Labour Project, operated through project societies formed at the district level, with the district magistrate, district collector as the chairman and officer to work as project director for its implementation. The special schools under NCLP are run by NGOs, local self-governments, or directly by the project society. The school enroll working children from 9 to 14 and given education for a period of maximum 3 years until they reach 14. Each school with 2 educational instructors and 1 vocational instructor has provision for 50 children and are given basic education and vocational training. Sir, until August 2009, the children of the NCLP schools were provided with cooked lunchtime meals, which have now been merged with the midday meal under Sarva Shiksha Mission. Every child is paid a stipend of rupees 150 per month, whereby the amount is deposited in the savings account in the name of the child on a monthly basis, which can be withdrawn only at the time of mainstreaming. Sir, in West Bengal, under the chief ministership of our greatest leader, Kalyan Banerjee, all the 20 districts are covered under the NLCLP scheme. Out of 985 sanctioned special schools, 963 are functioning with a total of 47,200 children in the West Bengal. Sir, we are having one silver line, that now child labor is being decreased. According to the census report, 1971 census report, 10 crore 75 lakhs 3,985 million. 1981, 13 crore 64 lakhs 870 million. 1991, 11 lakhs 28 5,349 million. 2001, it was 12 lakhs 66,000, 12 crore 66 lakhs 6,377 million. But in 2011, 12 crores 62 lakhs 6,500 million provisional. Sir, in spite of the constitutional provisions and various acts enacted by the Parliament, it has not become successful for various reasons. Reasons are lack of educational facilities in rural area. Compulsory education has not been implemented because of failure to build infrastructures. Employment of teachers and attracting more rural children into education. India carried over a large scale of child labor after independence. In fact, there was no account of the number of child laborers before the 1971 census. The British regime in pre-independence India did not take any effective steps for promoting education in rural areas, and the availability of education facility was so marginal that only few students could take advantage. Religious conception and caste system amongst them, others were responsible for lack of interest in education before independence in India. Discouraging girls from education and helped to create a huge female child labor. Since poverty and destitution are the main causes behind child labor, labor inspectors are sympathetic to the families. That is the reason repeatedly I am saying this clause 5 really hits the basic concept of the prohibiting the child labor. Sir, in a nutshell, the central government is responsible for not eliminating child labor from the soil of India. The International Labour Organization estimates that 215 million children engaged in child labor as worldwide in 2008, an estimated 14% children in India between the age 5 and 14 years are involved in child labor activities. The Ministry of Women and Child Development conducted a study on child abuse covering 13 states, 12,447 children, 2,324 young adults and 2,449 stakeholders. It looked at different forms of child abuse in different evidence groups, including children at work. Key finding of them shows as A, number 1, 50.2% children work 7 days a week. Number 2, boys and girls were being physically abused equally. Number 3, 56.38% of the children reported working in illegal and hazardous occupations. Number 4, 65% of children were working because of parental pressure. If this is so, 65% childs are working because of the parental pressure, whether this clause 5 is opening the back door to bring the child in the employment or not, please consider that. This is the report. This is your reports, not our reports or our saying. Central government's reports. This is a pressure on the part of the families are there. The largest number of child instances in the Asia Pacific region. Sir, I will not take much time, sir. Education eradicates illiteracy and provides a means to economic empowerment and opportunity to live a better life. Article 26, Sub-Article 1 of Universal Declaration of Human Rights assures that everyone has the right to education, which shall be free at least at the elementary and fundamental stage. We have an act. We are having the constitutional provisions. But although there is an intention to bring it, unfortunately, it has not been implemented in the entire country. The agencies have failed to implement it. We have failed. Let us take it that all we are responsible for this, that we are not in a position to bring every child of our country to bring into the school education system. This is a failure, greatest failure in our country itself. Sir, due to poverty, children are subjected to many visible and invisible sufferings and disabilities. The Convention of the Rights of the Child, which was ratified by the Government of India on 11 December 1992, recognizes the right of the child for full and a harmonious development of his or her personality. Article 3 of the Convention mandates the best interest of the child is the primarily consideration. Sir, our Constitution, Article 21, 21A, 23, 24, 39E and F, 45 and 46 of the Constitution of India, read with the preamble, mandates compulsory education of children, socio-economic justice to children and their empowerment, full growth of their personality, socially, educationally, culturally, growing up a matter of right. Therefore, sir, I will be ending that laws are there. We have to implement. And it has to be implemented very strictly. And Labour Minister of the central government must take care and must see this is being implemented. Although education doesn't come within your ministry, but to protect the child labor itself, it is indirectly you have to monitor, it is being done. Child labor must be eradicated through promoting education and well-planned poverty elimination and developmental scheme, as well as through the imposition of trade actions on employment of children. Thank you, sir, for giving me this.